Hi, welcome back to part two of my story. And we left off with me kind of having to tell my mother about my father's accident. So I'm just going to kind of jump right into it so that we can kind of finish the story and move on to the next. But so this is going to be probably a shorter video than usual, well, since my last one. But I remember I was going into her room and I got an overwhelming feeling of shock. It hit me like a ton of bricks, and I fell into the door and I just started screaming, "Dad is dead, Dad is dead." And she looked at me and said, no, that's not true, that's not true. And I told her that it was, and we ended up talking to the police because it was a fatality and accident, and remember bits and pieces of that night. I don't really remember a whole lot of that, but I do remember we talked about the last time that we had seen him and what he said to us and where we were, and he had asked me if I had wanted to go to the store with him, and I told him no, that I couldn't go, I had to go to work. I didn't have to be at work for like 3 hours, so that was probably a lie because I could have went with him to the store. It was just down the road. I then told him, I love him, and he told me he loved me, and that's how it ended. And then he had told my mother they had their problems throughout the years, and they were going through some things, and he got down on bended knee, and she was in the restroom, and he said, I just wanted to tell you I meant what I said when I said till death do us part. And those were the last words that he said to my mother. And we think back on it and we know that he went out the right way, like saying that, by saying that he loved me, little things that he had done upcoming months before he had passed away, things that you don't usually do. So that was really interesting to look back and think on those things. But I started to feel a terrible guilt over it, because I could have went with him and I should have went with him and I didn't go. And so I felt like it was my fault for the longest time. I still have that problem that I think it's my fault at times. I try to move on from it the best that I can by doing other things to, occupy my mind. But for the most part, I can't really get over it completely, even though I am trying and it's a work in progress. But after that happened with my father, my mother ended up going into the hospital 3 days later because she was sick with all 3 strains of pneumonia, not knowing she was sick. So she had been in the hospital for a long time. She was in a self-induced coma for a really long time, and then she went and stayed with my grandmother, and she kind of nursed her back to health. Then she came home, but altogether I was home alone for a very long time, very, very long time. No parents, 22 years old. What am I going to do? I didn't know how to cope. No one told me how to. No one was there to kind of look up to you and have that guidance at that age. And so I went on a bender for a year. I drank every night. I worked every day to get money to go out and drink and party and do whatever I thought I could do. I drank and drove many times. I wrecked a car while doing that. I got arrested for doing that. I've been through hell and back for doing that. But it was nobody's fault but my own. It was my way of coping with a tragic accident at such a tender young age. And I had no clue what to do. My mother comes home. We end up grieving together. And I'll get into that later with the 5 stages of the grief. You won't ever go through them probably chronologically. They say people do. I'm sure that that's correct. But in my case, and a lot of people that I know their cases, it hasn't happened like that. But I definitely went the wrong way. I was to the point where I was working and I had to be sent to the hospital because I was sick. Like, I just was trying to pick up more tables and I was white as a ghost. and I was extremely sick because of everything that happened to me. And I didn't let that, you know, I didn't let that grief kind of come in. I just hit that straight denial phase and was in that for years and years. And it took me a long time to go out of it. I didn't go to my angry phase right afterwards. I went just till denial, till crying, straight depression. And then I kind of went to my angry stage. And like I said, we'll go through those, my next video. But if you guys have any questions at all about any of my videos, like I said before, comment below. I would love to help some people if they want to hear a little more detail about a certain situation that they heard or something I had said. Definitely just leave a comment. Or if you know me personally, message me and I'll address it. If you want to be anonymous when you message me, totally cool with that too. I can just, say it was me that needed to elaborate on a situation. But that is the end of that story for now. We'll move on to another chapter. I do want to say I get to a chapter where I have to lose a part of my actual body, and we'll go into deep detail with that because there's not a lot of information about that on the internet. We're going to go through my ups and downs, and I'm also going to do another segment. It's going to be Tea with Tanya, and it's going to be really uplifting and fun. These videos are more for to help people, and just hit that subscribe button and the bell down at the bottom of the screen, and then that way you'll be alerted every time I do post a new video, and I really would appreciate it. Thanks for watching me, and hopefully my videos, they do get better with time. And since we're, the coronavirus is going around, a lot of my equipment has kind of broke on me, and so I'm making do with what I have. So just kind of bear with me, and hopefully I'll see you soon, and I'll have my next video out on Friday.